Alright, Shalom, double honors to the apostles of GMS, honest true brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is an article that's out there, basically speaking on the deal that the Russian President Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping, how they've just signed a new mega deal. Right, and I'll speak on the implications of this deal after I've gone through the article. So it's this particular video is going to be quite straightforward and quite straight to the point. Right, so it says Putin, Xi Jinping signed mega gas deal on second gas supply route. Right. And you have it there where they're basically in allegiance with each other. We can see they're quite happy in each other's company. Not how Vladimir Putin would be. You ain't gonna see Vladimir Putin making no deals with the Americans. And like I said, I'll speak on the implications of this deal in just a moment. It says President Vladimir Putin and the Chinese leader Xi Jinping have signed a memorandum of the understanding of the so-called Western gas supply route to China. The agreement paves the way for a contract that will make China the biggest consumer of Russian gas, man. Right, so in essence, they're going to become codependent on each other. These countries are going to become codependent on each other, because if you see the revenue that Russia makes, I assume, and probably correctly assuming, that the vast majority of their wealth, the GDP, the national income, comes from this oil. And as you can see, it's been coming from them Chinese right there. They'll be paying for it. So it says, and China, the biggest consumer of Russian gas. Russia's so-called Western or Alte route would supply 30 billion cubic meters of gas a year to China. So the new line comes in addition to the eastern route through the Pales of Siberia pipeline, which will annually deliver 38 billion cubic meters of gas to China. Right, and then it goes on and goes on and so on and so forth. But like I said, I'll mention the implications of this later on. This means to say these two countries are codependent, right, for one to exist in the near future, because this deal is going to take place in what they've said is it's a 30-year agreement to start in 2018, which I certainly don't see a 2018. All right, I don't see it going that far. Right, the way the financial markets is looking, I'm pretty sure something's bound to pop off in the near future. Right, but like I was saying, they are pretty much gearing themselves up to be codependent. Right, that means to say, when all hell breaks loose, as prophesied within the scriptures, when you go through the book of 2 Peter 3, and around about the whole chapter is good. It speaks about how the day of the Lord is going to be a day of darkness, man. Right. Also, Isaiah the 24th chapter. In fact, let me pull up Isaiah the 24th chapter, because that's directly linked to what we have here. Right. And what you have is the Americans are basically making the Russians the new boogeyman, the new go-to scapegoat, and the Russians are making them these big deals, man. These multi-billion-dollar deals, 38 odd billion. What does it say? 40 odd billion $1 agreement, man. Right, which is a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. They call it a mega deal, man. Right? So when we go into the scriptures here, more specifically geared up for the Russians, because Russians are the ones that has been prophesied to take place in it. But we know it says Russia and all of their allies, man, in the book of Ezekiel 30, I believe it's in Ezekiel the 37th chapter, right, when it talks about Gog and Magog, right? And basically making the Most High is going to put hooks and make sure, makes drawing them out to battle. I've beaten on that drum. You can see that in the previous videos prior to this. But this particular scripture is pertaining to what's going to happen in the near future, the implication of these treaties, right? It's going to mean when America moves into Iran or make a move on Iran, whether that's through Iran or through Syria or through the ISIS or whatever, however they're going to do it. Once that happens, then Russia's going to join in. But as you can see, it's not just the Russians anymore. The Russians are publicly linked to them Chinese, right? And that's going. And when they start bombing upon them Americans, man, it's going to fulfill this particular prophecy here in the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter. And I'm going to read the whole thing. It says, "Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. It shall be as with the people, as with the priests, as with the servants, so his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, and as with the lender, so with the borrower, and the taker of usury, so with him that giveth usury." So it's gonna be upon everybody, this impending hell that's gonna come to play. Right? It says, "The land shall utterly be emptied, right, and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken his word." So the Lord has spoken it, and we know in the scriptures it says his word doesn't return unto him void, and it's not going to return unto him void. It's like it says here in the 4th verse. It says, "The earth mourneth and fadeth away." Now that's not talking about the actual earth. It's talking about the kingdom that you have right now, Esau's kingdom, right, which is mainly pushed by the so-called Americans, the American government, all of that, right? "The world languisheth and fadeth away, and the haughty people of the earth." Who are the haughty people of the earth? Right? When you read the book of Obadiah, when you read the book of Job, the 20th chapter, you find out that group of proud people are the same people that said they so-called landed on the moon, the same people that say their military is untouchable. It's all of that. It's the Edomites, the so-called white people, Esau, who's going to be destroyed off the face of the earth. Right? It says, "And the haughty people of the earth do languish," and also, right, it says, "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, and we damn sure know it, man." Right? Which goes into another topic that I was going to go into in the next video, but you can see that on your own. It says, "The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof," right? Because for they have transgressed laws and changed ordinances and broken the everlasting covenant. It says, "Therefore has the curse devoured the earth." Right? And when you go into the book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse, the curse is that same curse that's going to make people's tongues consume away in their mouths when they stand upon their feet, which is going to be them ICBMs. And you can see that in the movies, namely the first, I believe it's the first Terminator, and the name, I believe the lady's name was Sarah O'Connor or something like that, and she had the vision of that nuclear fire, man. Right? It says, "The earth, rathermore the curse devoured, rathermore the curse has devoured the earth, and they that dwell in are desolate. And therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burnt, and few men left." It could be few men left. So much so, a man's going to desire to see another man's face, man. It's going to be scarcely popular. It says, "The new wine mourneth, and the vine languisheth, and all the merry hearted sigh." Right? And this is the 8th verse. It says, "The mirth of the temperate ceases, the noise of them that rejoice endeth." Right? So all your partying and bullshit and all of that, man, namely you niggas, man, that's going to stop, man. That's going to come to an end, right, pretty soon, man. Right? It says that the joy of the harp ceaseth. Right? It says, they shall not drink with wine with songs. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. It says, "The city of confusion, which is Babylon, is broken down." Right? Babylon, we know, is comes from the word Babel and Lon meaning land, and Babel meaning confusion. Right? It's a land of confusion. Right? The city of confusion, which is America, Babylon in the scripture also. Right? It says it's broken down and every house is shut up. It says that no man may come in. And there's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened, and the mirth of the land is gone. And it says, and the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. Right, and you can read the rest for yourselves. Right, but the point I was making was the fact that this is going to take place. This is going to take place as a result of these actions. These are military strategies that are being put in place. Right, because you're gonna have to support the investments that you've made, right? Whether it's namely the Chinese people in protecting their investment within the Russian government, namely for that oil, right? And that's how these things are gonna come to play out, right? That's just a speculation, but we definitely know the Russians gonna be in there, and the Chinese don't like the Americans anyway, so it's a calculation based upon these prophecies that we see here. Right, and pretty much with that, like I said, it's gonna be a short one, and you can check out that verse. That's a good verse because it goes into the destruction and all of that. Right, like this is the 23rd verse here. It's a good verse. We'll read that. It says, "And the moon shall be confounded, and the sun shall be ashamed." Right, and meaning to say you ain't gonna be able to see the sky because of that nuclear fire and the nuclear winter. And it says, "The moon shall be confounded, and the sun shall be ashamed. And when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem," and it says, "and before his ancients gloriously," right? And that's talking about us when we get into our own estate, right? But like I said, man, just a quick short one, right? And I'll say double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to the brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.